We have chosen this topic carefully because in the changing world order, India and China's potential to create the 2030 agenda of sustainable development and to achieve those goals have increased by daily. And now, after India's new goal for achieving a sustainable and net zero development goal till 2060 and usage of more green and hydro energies and less use of pollutants and fossil fuels are an example of the collaboration that these two nations are taking in between each other and creating a blueprint for the future. And especially since the SDG 7 goals, which have to be achieved till the year 2060, and the net zero goal that these two nations have taken. Let me lay some ground rules for this session. This session will have 20 speakers. First, we will have speakers from the Geostrata, then we will have speakers from the Tsinghua University and vice versa. Each speaker will get 1 minute and 30 seconds each. Please do not exceed your time and put forward your topics. Be precise. Halfway through the session, we will open the chat box for 5 questions. Each question should be directly mentioned towards the speaker that they are asking to, and the questions must be precise. After that, we will continue the session, and at the end of the session, we will again open the chat box for 5 more questions. This session is an example of the collaboration that these two nations are taking, and to not just have the intellectual responsibilities that young people have of both these nations, but to also implement these ideas and to create a bridge between our intellectual responsibility and social duties as citizens of this world. Without further ado, I would like to thank all of you for joining, and let's begin this session. The first speaker will be Ananya. Anya.
So yeah, I express my gratitude to the moderator, the Geostrata, and Tsinghua University for giving me this opportunity. Greetings, everyone. I'm Anya, a researcher at the Geostrata. And today I'll be talking about how both our countries, India and China, can together work to accelerate the transition towards renewable energy. So before we come to the main point, let's go back a few years to 2015, the year of the COP21 in Paris, where both our nations had made a huge promise. So while India pledged to achieve net zero emissions by the year 2070, China had set the same target, but for 2060. And now, in this journey, we have made significant progress. For instance, I must highlight that renewables account for over 45% of India's total energy mix. China, too, has made giant strides, with it having the world's highest capacity of solar and wind power. So now, keeping these capabilities in mind and the fact that India and China are two Asian giants, two of the world's largest economies and manufacturing hubs, I believe we possess the power to spearhead this transition. And to achieve this, I suggest creating the India-China Renewable Energy Partnership, which would foster collaboration between our academic and industry partners. And hence, it would lead to the sharing of best practices and training materials. Together, I believe we can steer our beautiful planet Earth towards a more greener and more sustainable future. I look forward to listening to all of you and your views about the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Anya. Thank you for those wonderful insights. Now, we will be moving on to our next speaker from Tsinghua University, Shiv. Shiv, are you here? Okay, we'll be moving
to...
sorry.
I thought I was number 3, so yeah, but I can go first if that's the case. So yeah, hi everyone, my name is Shivam. I'm from the United States, studying at Schwartzman here. I may be the only American in this forum, but for the Geostrata side, my parents are from Mumbai and Gujarat, so full Gujarati, but I studied finance at the University of Michigan. I wrote my thesis on the Indian millennial consumer in 2017. I worked in New York for 5 years in trade and finance, and have been betting on the India growth story for almost 10 years. So this is something that is near to dear to my heart, and I plan to move to India later in July to build a company potentially in the solar and energy space. The US, India, and China are the 3 largest populations, will soon have the 3 largest economies, and are the largest consumers of energy today. The decisions these countries make in terms of energy investment, utilization mix, and the speed of transition will not only impact their country, but also have global ramifications. Thus, it is imperative for these countries to partner and lead the global energy transition. And indeed, there are examples of partnership already between India and China. The Tata partnership with Goshan, the large energy battery manufacturer, is driving a lot of transitions in the green and renewable space. JSW and SAIC is another example. So in conclusion, India and China will need to work together given mutually beneficial opportunities. India gains access to leading technologies to ultimately shore up its own domestic industry in the future, and China gets access to the third largest energy market. I'm excited to support the energy transition and partner amongst the United States, India, and China.
Thank you, Shivam. Now the next speaker will be from the Geostrata, Anusha.
Namaste, everyone. I am grateful to the moderator for providing me with this platform. It is indeed an honor to be a part of this very crucial discussion today. I am Anusha, and I'm the acting director of the Geostrata sub-entity called the Covering PM. India and China are two countries that have had one of the longest histories in bilateral relations and trade. The populations and land masses of both the countries have more similarities among each other than with any other country, I presume, in the world. This is why the journey of both the countries pushing for sustainable development within their own countries and within their populations has to be similar as well. This is exactly why electric vehicles and sustainable developments can prove to be an important area of collaboration for both the countries. While the Indian government has provided purchase incentives, interest subventions, road tax exemptions, and income tax benefits to promote EV within the country and outside it, China has also been providing tax breaks and tax incentives to its citizens and aspiring businesses for the past few years. This is where the idea of collaboration and partnership in this particular field comes in, wherein India has a vibrant EV manufacturing sector already with a lot of homegrown companies in the game. There is also a presence of a large number of investors and huge growth potential, which is only limited by the lack of lithium sources for manufacturing batteries. As Indian companies already import EV components largely from China, and the latter has ample lithium reserves as well, the countries could work out a partnership that could contribute both to the Indian finished product market in EV and China's export income from the components. This, I believe, would create a very strong supply chain and promote sustainability for both the countries. So I would basically like to end by saying that the huge trade ecosystem between India and China that is already existing can be utilized further for both the countries' interests in promoting sustainable development goals, especially in the sector of electric vehicles. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anusha, for that insightful speech. Now the next speaker will be Miranda. Miranda,
Yeah, I'm here. Hi.
please go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, like I myself will introduce myself. So right now, I'm here as a first year PhD student at Tsinghua University, and my major is actually linguistics. It's related to language education and artificial intelligence. But in my undergrad and also in my master, I study language and also computer science. I as a leader of the association with our student union, I have joined a lot of programs related to sustainability and environment protection. So I'm really honored to have this speech right now and to talk to you and share my idea with you today. Okay, today I want to talk about the environmental impact of consumerism and how individuals can make more sustainable choices. So right now, actually, I use some data. Like right now, if everyone live like Western consumers, we need like 5 planets to support us. And the number of consumers is growing by the second. The consumer class will grow from like 3.5 billion in 2017 to 5.6 billion by 2030. So a consumer actually is defined as someone able to buy goods and services beyond the satisfaction of these basic needs. And specifically, someone having more than $10 a day to live on, as referred to as middle class. So actually, it's basically good news. But the fact that more people are able to enjoy the benefits of buying goods and services beyond their very basic needs is essentially positive. But there is actually a downside. The negative effects of consumerism include actually the depletion of natural resources and pollution of the earth. And the if anyone on Earth live like the average American, we would need like 5.2 planets to support us. And number three, everyone live like the average Japanese and about 3.3 as Europeans. And number of people in the consumer class is growing. So it's like Earth's history is computed to a calendar year. So modern human life has existed for 37 minutes. And we have used 1/3 of the Earth's natural resources in the last 0.2 seconds. So right now, like actually most of the new consumers will come from Asia with China and India, like our big country, like being the main drivers of the growth. So anyone like who believes that its potential growth can go on forever in the Japanese world, in the finite world, it's either a madman or an economist. So it's actually, this is quoted by Kenneth Balding in 1973. So for me, that is what I want to share today, is about the environmental impact of consumerism. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Miranda. Now, the next speaker will be Anirban.
Thank you. Greetings to everyone present here. I am Anirban, a research analyst at the Geostrata. So today I'll be speaking about the importance of deploying solar energy and solar power plants in the rural areas of China and India. So why am I talking about the importance of solar power? Firstly, if we deploy solar home systems, it will not only enable us to ward off against any electrical shortages, but it is also financially sustainable. So in this case, it also has a time period of more than 15 years. Secondly, if we go forward with solar-based cold storage facilities, it will also helps us to ward off against any post-harvest losses that we might see in the near future. Thirdly, I'll also speak about the importance of encouraging startups in the rural areas and the drought-prone areas of both the nations, because it will also help to improve the farmers' income, but it will also encourage innovation and sustainability, especially if we focus into the rural areas of both the countries. Fourthly, I'll also speak about the importance of untouched island chains, which doesn't have the facility to have direct electrical kits with the thermal power plants. So in the sense, if we deploy electrical and other solar-based power plants, it will help to give them access to electricity to up to 6 hours a day. So in this case, I'd also like to thank Tsinghua. I'd also like to thank the Geostrata as well for giving me the floor. At the end, I would also like to thank you everyone. So in this sense, I'd like to also like to argue that Earth is the only commonality that we share with ourselves. And I pass my floor to the next speaker, and over to you.
Thank you, Anirban. Thank you for raising those important issues. Our next speaker will be Raymond.
Hello, everyone. I'm Raymond, and I'm a student majoring in economics. So today I would like to share the economic analysis method for the evaluating the energy cooperation. And as it's well known that current energy cooperation between China and India includes of the fields of the oil and the gas, and will, I believe, also expand to the renewable energy, such as the solar energy in the future. And when analyzing this cooperation, I believe that the following two economic analysis frameworks should be considered. And the first step is the cost-benefit analysis, such as the calculating the total project revenue based on the expected product's capacity and the output benefits of these projects. And next is the analysis of the policy and the market environment, which is a thing that is often be overlooked, but plays an important role in the face of the cross-border economic cooperation. And in this analysis, we must pay attention to the impacts of the domestic and the foreign energy policy on the cooperation projects, such as the tax policy, subsidy policy, marketing excise, and so on, so that we can achieve the mutual benefits and the equal coexistence in the cooperation. And in summary, the Chinese and the India have the broad space in the energy, especially in the sustainable energy cooperation. And we should actively take the action and engage in the extensive exchanges under the consensus between the leaders of the both countries. And that's all for my presentation. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Raymond. These are very important points and issues that you have just raised, and it is something that we need to look forward to much more carefully, as these are the most prescient issues of our time. To follow this, we would like to invite the speaker from the Geostrata now, Anmol. Anmol, you have the floor.
Thank you, moderator, for giving me the mic. I would like to begin by expressing my appreciation to the involved organization and to the people conducting this roundtable for giving me this platform. To come to the focus of the roundtable, the mere fact that so many of us are here today putting our time and effort to discuss how we can go about tackling climate change. I believe that it is very much indicative of the need for immediate climate action. When it comes to India and China, I feel that the two countries that act as two very important players in the global arena, they share a very unique opportunity to drive global progress in sustainable development. We may have heard that hydrogen-based energy sources have been commonly spoken about topic these days. So one actionable area would be the joint development of green hydrogen technology, which is obviously known to reduce carbon footprints, improve energy security, and also promote a shift towards clean energy. To achieve that, India and China must primarily work towards pooling their resources and expertise, through which they can then go on to address the technical challenges that sit in developing green hydrogen technology. This can be done by setting up bilateral research and innovation mechanisms focused on green hydrogen. The collaboration can then further extend to creating shared infrastructure for production, storage, and distribution of green hydrogen, with the primary aim of benefiting industries in both the countries and thereby reducing their dependency on fossil fuels. Finally, I feel that both India and China must make use of their collective influence on the global stage and go on to advocate for increased financial and technical support from developed nations, primarily under multilateral frameworks such as the UNFCCC. This will particularly set up a precedent for other developed and developing nations to follow. Finally, I feel that such a strategic cooperation will not only help India and China meet their respective national targets in time, but will also contribute significantly to global efforts in combating climate change. That's all from my side. Thank you all for this effort.
Thank you, Anmol. Thank you for those points. Now the next speaker is Navya. Navya, Navya Boja.
Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you. Hi, I'm Navya. I'd like to today talk about the importance of STEM research in climate change and environmental sustainability. And of course, India and China being the two major players in this field, it's of utmost importance to discuss it within this aspect. So climate change, as we all know, is a complex, multifaceted problem, and it requires obviously innovative solutions rooted in science, technology, engineering, and math. And India and China, of course, have vast resources and talent pools dedicated to STEM research, and collaborative efforts can lead to breakthroughs that significantly impact, mitigate climate change. And another key areas where STEM research is making substantial impact is, of course, renewable energy technologies. Both nations are investing heavily in solar, wind, and hydroelectric power. And while we know China is leading in solar panel making and India is making significant strides in wind, and advances in this fields not only would reduce greenhouse gas emissions and provide sustainable energy solutions, it would also help the future generations. And another critical aspect is environmental monitoring and data analysis, which would be benefited from collaborative efforts of STEM researchers from both the countries. And the development of sophisticated satellite technology and data analytics would, for instance, allow better understanding the climate patterns and predict the extreme. So
your mic is on. Can you please turn it off?
Oh my God. No? Yeah,
Yeah.
is it better now?
Yeah, it's better.
All right.
Please.
Yeah, all right. Like I was saying, collaborative projects between Indian and Chinese researchers have already started yielding valuable insights and enabling more accurate climate modeling and disaster preparedness. And I'm assuming my time is nearing, so I'd like to conclude by saying the synergy between India and China in STEM research is a powerful force for tackling climate change. By continuing to foster collaboration and innovation, we can develop sustainable technologies and strategies that will not only benefit the two nations, but also contribute to the global effort in combating climate change. Together, we can pave way for a more sustainable and resilient future. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Navya. Now let's moving on to our next speaker, Anshika from the Geostrata.
I thank the moderator and I'm grateful for this opportunity to share my views. Good evening, everyone. I'm Anshika, a member of the Geostrata. I would highlight India and China's collaboration on navigating solar energy and the developments around it. In today's world, where the need for clean and sustainable energy has never been more urgent due to climate change, India and China, they stand poised to lead the charge in solar energy collaboration. But one might wonder, why solar energy? Solar energy is the world's most abundant and clean energy source. It has become the common energy that drives climate action that aligns with UN Sustainable Development Goal 13. In 2015, India announced the launch of the International Solar Alliance with an exclusive mandate to tackle climate change through the massive deployment of solar energy. It's worth noting that India extended a hand of invitation to China as well to join this alliance. Now, a few recommendations from my side would be India and China must enhance their collaboration on financing mechanisms as well as international partnerships. This can be done by actively exploring opportunities for joint investment in large-scale solar projects through establishing bilateral agreements or by expertise. Both of these countries can maximize the impact of their investments. This provides access or a platform for collaboration in research, technology, and its development. Both countries need to seize this opportunity and take steps to strengthen their cooperation in the solar energy sector. Thank you. Looking forward to more discussions.
Thank you, Anshika, for that insightful talk. Now the next speaker will be Jing Kang, if I pronounce that right.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My topic is about climate change. Climate change is an extensional threat that requires urgent and decision action. China's dual carbon strategy is a prime example of how a nation can lead the charge towards sustainability, aiming for the peak emission by 2013 and carbon neutrality by 2016. China is transforming to renewable energy sources, enhancing the energy efficiency and developing green infrastructure. The establishment of a carbon trading market is a significant step that essentializes the emission reduction across industries. This strategy not only addresses China's environmental commitments, but also drive economic transformation, positioning China as a global leader in green technology and practices. In a world where the collective action is crucial, China's dual carbon strategy is a beacon of hope, demonstrating that with political will and strategic planning, we can combat climate change and build a sustainable future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jing Kang. Now the next speaker will be from the Geostrata, Arnav.
I thank the moderator for giving me the opportunity to address this roundtable, and I'm honored to be a part of this esteemed panel. My name is Arnav Jassal, and I'm a researcher at the Geostrata. Today, I shall propose policy suggestions to encourage collaboration between India and China for nuclear power generation and the usage of nuclear energy as a sustainable fuel source. Now, as my colleagues have mentioned, we are well aware of the negative impacts of our current methods of energy production, namely fossil fuels, which contribute to climate change. Nuclear energy comes here as a viable alternative, which produces energy exponentially greater than fossil fuels and has minimal carbon emissions. In regards to this, India and China can carry out research programs led by industry experts from both the countries for better reactor designs, fuel efficiency, and radioactive waste management. Technology transfer can be carried out to corroborate the research independently that has been done independently by both the nations, and joint exploration projects to discover and set up mining operations for the necessary resources is a must. By implementing these policy suggestions, India and China can forge a partnership that promotes clean and sustainable energy. Let's share our resources and our technology and ensure a better future for humanity. Thank you, and looking forward for the upcoming discussions.
Thank you, Mr. Jasal. Now the next speaker will be Mizao.
Hello everyone, my name is Mijo, and I'm a science student. Actually, I'm not from Tsinghua University, but I'm really interested in this topic, so I joined this. My topic is about the environmental problem in the India growth. The environmental problems India facing now include 5 main aspects: water pollution, air pollution, waste recycling, and food shortage, and biodiversity reductions. Most working people in India works outdoor. This problem seriously endangers the safety of the majority of working people. India's rapid growth in recent years is due to the demographic dividend. This will conflict with India's economic growth. Only by balancing climate problems at the same time can we avoid the suspension of development. So while developing, India needs to focus on environmental protection, such as solar energy utilization and waste utilization. This reduces the impact of environmental pollution on people's health. So at the same time, China has a lot of recycling companies, and we're doing good. Recycling and clean energy also reduce the explorations of natural environment. Through cooperation with China enterprises, the employment time can be shortened with advanced technology. At the same time, increase jobs and promote competitions amongst domestic empresses. Okay, that's my talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Mi. Now, the next speaker will be from the Geostrata, Darshan.
Hello, everyone. I thank Mr. Moderator for giving me the floor. I thank Geostrata and Tsinghua University for giving me the opportunity to participate in the roundtable. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we gather here today to discuss the critical issues of importance, it is essential to recognize the immense potential that lies within various multilateral institutions, such as the BRICS partnership. As representatives of BRICS nations, India and China have a unique opportunity to enhance cooperation in vital areas. Together, we account for a significant portion of world's population and economic output. Climate change affects all BRICS countries, from the melting of glaciers in Himalayas to the rising level of our coastlines. By collaborating, we can pool our resources, knowledge, and innovative solutions. Further, we must establish joint research initiatives, share data on climate patterns, and develop strategies to mitigate the impact of climate change. Our collaborative efforts can lead to more resilient and sustainable future. Additionally, India and China are already making strides in renewable energy. India's solar capacity and China's wind energy installations are commendable. As BRICS partners, we can create a robust framework for technology transfer, investment, and capacity building. Let's explore joint ventures in solar and wind energy projects, leveraging each other's strength. By promoting clean energy sources, we not only reduce our carbon footprint, but also create jobs and stimulate economic growth. I like conclude by recalling words of Lao Tzu, an ancient Chinese philosopher and writer, who famously said, "Your own positive future begins in this moment. All you have is right now. Every goal is possible from here." Likewise, ladies and gentlemen, if we want to take the steps to save our future and our world, we must take steps right now, because now is all we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Darshan, and thank you for that philosophical insight that we all truly need. The next speaker will be Jack.
Hello, I'm Jack from China. The topic I share is climate warming and low carbon travel. Global warming is a phenomenon related to nature due to the continuous accumulation of greenhouse effect. The energy absorbed and emitted by the geogas system is unbalanced, and the energy continues to accumulation in the geogas system, resulting the temperature rise and global warming. In order to cope with climate change, countries around the world have put off corresponding carbon neutrality measures. In our daily life, we can also adopt a low carbon lifestyles to contribute the carbon neutrality. You can choose low carbon travel. The 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics advocated 135 green low carbon travel. That's walking within 1 kilometer, cycling within 3 kilometers, and take public transportation with 5 kilometers. This can be a reference for our low carbon travel. That's what I share. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you, Jack. Now the next speaker will be from the Geostrata, Digvijay.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, for providing me with the floor. I am glad to be a part of this discussion. Good evening, everyone. My name is Digvijay, and I'm a research analyst at the Geostrata. And I'll be putting forward my views on the need for an India-China collaboration on climate change adaptation and mitigation in agriculture. Now, with a combined population of around 3 billion people, India and China are the biggest producers as well as consumers of agricultural products. And a population of this scale needs an efficient system to ensure food safety and security. Even though the two nations are leaders of the developing world, agriculture in both India and China faces some common problems due to the effects of climate change. Now, both have worked on an individual level tackling the specific problems they face. But I ask you this, what can be the next step forward? Now, how do we make a lasting impact, not just domestically, but globally? Both of our nations have the resources as well as the expertise. Given these facts, I believe that a cooperation between India and China, which is aimed at reducing the effects of climate change on the agricultural sector, would be a very positive step in the right direction. If I have to specifically name some of the core areas of cooperation, and as my fellow panelist Navya from Tsinghua also emphasized, we can start with the joint deployment of climate information systems through STEM research collaboration between the two nations, which will help the cultivators get real-time data on weather patterns and can help them monitor crop health and enable precise agricultural practices. Furthermore, a cooperation in biotechnology can help in development of climate-resilient crop varieties, therefore fundamentally altering the way cultivation is carried out in both India and China. As I conclude, I am confident that a cooperation between India and China on the aforementioned will be instrumental in de-risking agriculture, not just for the two of them, but for the developing world as a whole. Lastly, I thank this roundtable for their commitment, and I'm looking forward to more discussion on the inputs that I put forward.
Thank you, Digvijay. The next speaker will be Jing Yao.
Okay,
Jing
okay. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Today, I'm pleased and honored to discuss the critical role of issues between China and India, particularly in the new energy. And as young leaders from two of the most dynamic countries, our collaboration can significantly influence the global energy landscape. And China has emerged as a global leader in renewable energy, investing heavily in solar, wind, and hydroelectric power. India, too, has made impressive strides in renewable energy. The International Solar Alliance initiated by India exemplifies the country's commitment to fostering global solar energy cooperation. As youth, we stand at the intersection of these pioneering efforts. Our role in driving innovation and fostering collaboration is essential. In conclusion, our shared commitment to new energy can drive sustainable growth and set a global standard. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, the next speaker will be Gargi from the Geostrata.
Thank you, moderator. I would like to extend my gratitude to the Geostrata and to the Tsinghua University for this opportunity. Today, I would like to speak about food security. As it is a global concern, it is more evident in the Asia-Pacific region. We have huge populations, we have shifting climate patterns and socio-economic disparities as a formidable challenges. Fostering mutual collaboration holds the potential to address these challenges. Considering this, we can emerge as a key partners for ensuring food security on a regional as well as on the global scale. As rightly mentioned by my fellow colleague Mr. Digvijay, we have similar policies to provide subsidies, support programs to the farmers for better agricultural practices. For example, India's minimum support price system is similar to China's grain direct subsidy programs. Similarly, India's National Rural Employment Guarantee Act and China's rural revitalization strategies are helping rural economies to improve and reduce disparities. By aligning these sorts of national policies with the principle of sustainability, equity, and inclusivity, India and China can mitigate the impact of disruption of food supply caused by the Russia-Ukraine conflict and build resilience in the face of future challenges. By keeping Gautam Buddha's philosophy of interconnectedness at the core, we can demonstrate leadership together on the global stage and advocate for stronger international commitment for achieving SDG 2, that is zero hunger. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Gargi. Now the next speaker will be Sophie.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for giving me this chance. So now I'm majored in the sociology and my main research field would be like the economic history. So today I would like to provide a pre-modern perspective about like how China developed its nature resource. So actually a systematic study of Chinese view of natures is at least for the last imperial times, which is like the Qing dynasty, could be have like an entire possible spectrum of attitude. So some of the gigantic engineering project, such as some like hydraulic, as I probably like all of you guys would know, like the Sanxia Dam. But there was also like some people believe that we should attack nature with like the military fashion, and others would be believe that humans should accommodate ourselves to the pattern of the natural process without some force matters. However, with the technology and economic growth in the modern time, we would say like right now China is stepping out of the pre-modern stage into a more like developmental thinking, which can also be like to summarize as kind of like social Darwinism success, which I would like to think is like we tend to put the short-term rewards by, because previously we would like to regard the overexploitation of resource and many of like our water resource has been like to overutilized. But like right now with like the Chinese government, the development process tend to entire number of like more like conspicuous or like conscious thinking about like how this project would affect like different department, and the economic growth itself tend to spread more marketable, like to distribute the resource, devolve those decision rights into the people. So like right now for the hydraulic project in the domestic China, we would like to see more like about the sustainable developing thinking pattern. So that would be like my share of the pre-modern Chinese like nature resource thinking way. And I'd also like to hear more about the India's perspective about your pre-modern thinking about the nature resource usage. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophie. Now, the next speaker will be from the Geostrata. I think, Sophie, your net is breaking, but the next speaker from the Geostrata will be Ishika.
Greetings, everyone. I thank the moderator for handing over the mic to me. I am Ishika Agarwal, a researcher at the Geostrata, and today I am here to put forward my views on the role of green jobs and how to make a transition from a carbon-based economy to a green economy. Well, let's imagine a world where every step we take not only fuels our economy, but also heals our planet. Sounds a bit typical, right? But according to International Labour Organization, a green economy holds a promise of generating 24 million jobs globally, that too by the year 2030. This vision is not just a possibility, it is an imperative. Today, as we stand here at this crucial juncture, India and China as the two global leading powers has the responsibility to lead to this transformative journey. Now let's talk a bit about green jobs. Green jobs aims to improve and enhance our environmental quality while creating sustainable livelihood, and that in accordance with SDG 7 and SDG 8, which focuses on clean energy and economic growth. The concept of green economy is more than just an abstract. Now, talking about the practical steps we can take, both India and China can introduce tangible incentives like tax breaks from green technology, subsidies from renewable projects, and joint research initiatives in sustainable development. These measures are not just policy changes. They could act as a catalyst for a brighter and cleaner. Thank you all for your attention. In conclusion, let us embrace the vision of the world where every stride toward economic growth also lowers the planet.
Thank you. Thank you, Ishika. Now the next speaker will be Yong. Yong.
Okay, it's my turn.
Yes.
Okay, thanks for moderating of this, and it's also thanks for all the speech before. I gained a lot amazing ideas, and for my side, I like introduce based on my personal experience. The first is my research. I'm currently the PhD in environmental engineering in Tsinghua. So I work on employing AI for the environment. That is, we use AI to unleash the nature power, like the genetic codes or the microbiologies to turn the waste into resources. And then this is kind of related to the new trends of future energy transition of China. I think it's also kind of suitable for the from the perspective of global worldwide, that for the renewable energies, that the source of the renewable energy is not the bottlenecks, but how to storing the energy is the bottlenecks we can collaborate together to solve in the future. Because that's at present the EV panels or the solar and wind energy is very popular, but in China we are facing the bottlenecks of how to store these energies, because it's have these fluctuations, and the energy storage is the one of the greatest bottlenecks. And I know some besides
thank you, Yong.
also like kind of interested in entrepreneurship. So a lot of my friends are also interested in these renewable energies or climate technology, and some of them are also interested in going overseas to looking for another markets or really solve the global issues through these through their technology. Like it's kind of like technology transfer, and I think this part can also have great opportunities for collaborations. Especially some of my friends, they were facing the challenges of localizations, and I think I met some great successful case that is collaboration between Chinese people, Chinese entrepreneurs, and also local people. They can really help the local, like help the India to solve the local issues. And I think that's a great opportunities for us to collaborate together. And the third side is like from the youth perspectives, because I'm also leading the Tsinghua Global Youth Dialogue and another youth association, Sabri, and we really found that youth are the future. So how could we build these long-term mechanisms to really solve the global issues? I asked suggestions from some UN officers, and they really highly recommend us or encourage us to like build activities or events like these to have long-term dialogues and mechanisms to know how we can engage more stakeholders with youth as the bridge. For example, how our youth can voice for the real issue to the foundations or to the governments to really help on the capital flow to the advanced environmental technologies. So I think that can need multilateralism or bilateralism collaboration on this mechanism buildings for like tackle the global climate issues. So that's all for my sharing. Thanks for all of you.
Thank you, Yong. Now we are halfway through our session, so the chat box is open for 5 questions. Please mention your questions directly to whomsoever it is, and keep it direct, and you can start asking. Okay, the first question is from Sanjay. Sanjay, if you can please ask the question directly to Mr. Desai.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are. You can ask your question.
So to Mr. Desai, my question was, how can the mobilization of financial resources and the targeted allocation to nations in the global south contribute to the maintenance and strengthening of the multilateral global order?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I'm not like an expert in this, right? I worked in finance and credit for 3 years in New York, but it was on the consumer side, so it was not in climate finance or infrastructure financing. But you've seen China really step up over the last few decades in providing financing to developing countries, and they took a role that many of the multilaterals were not able to fill. And the United States has really not been as active as China has, right, in the Belt and Road and infrastructure projects globally. So, yeah, I think we need more private sector capital to step in. You have the big funds like Blackstone, KKR discussing how we need public-private partnerships and financing to come from the private sector to drive the green energy transition. But I think it's easier said than done, and will still take, right? It'll take some time because private investors have different risk appetites, and working with countries that may not be rated and appropriate, then it might not receive the financing from private investors. So yeah, it'll take collaboration, I think, from multiple entities and types of organizations.
Thank you, Mr. Desai.
Actually, I think it's a very interesting question. And right now, actually, there are a lot of companies I know they already started like business. Maybe the Shane as an entrepreneur, like he can also work on it. Like it's right now, like for example, my roommate example, right now if she goes to like shopping, she actually wants to buy like not only the the kind of dress like only for this occasion, but like actually can use in multiple occasions. So right now she started to think about it, like you can buy one stuff and actually like reusable like in many other occasions as well. So I think for us, we try to, as I mentioned, like I think like being able to turn into the consumer class, I mean the middle class is such a good thing, right? So it's actually we can actually spend our money, but we have to spend it wisely. So we try to make more, more reusable choices. So when we try to buy stuff like clothes, dress, and maybe also we are buying stuff like the dishes and the dishwashers, something like that. We also try to think about it like instead of like using them like just for once and then leave them there. Thank you. So I think we can talk more about it later. Yeah.
Thank you, Miranda, for that answer, and thank you, Soumya, for the question. The next question is from Vaibhav to Yang. Vaibhav, would you like to ask your question?
Yeah, thank you so much, Vishesh. So something that I was hearing while Yang was speaking. So we have seen that green tech still has a lot of scope to improve their efficiencies, right? Especially with regard to green hydrogen and solar energy. Moreover, there is the obvious storage and transmission issues that we are facing in the research field. So how do you think that both of the countries can collaborate on this? Because we are facing the exactly same issues that maybe China is facing or some other countries also facing in the region.
Yes, I think that's a really a good question. Let me, so for my side, I will give a case as an example. And one of my friends, they're working on renewable energies. They give a collective solutions. So they also succeed in going overseas for other countries to solve these renewable energy systems. But I think this needs collaboration, not only between the companies, but also they need to get the support from the governments and also multilateral organizations. And from my perspective, I think it's more feasible that we can have more communication with like the World Bank or Asia Development Bank. They have certain projects that would like to help the technology transfer or help on common issues based on technology. And they would have special fundings, especially the funding. I think they can especially support these companies to go overseas. And moreover, the governments and also some IPO companies, they have great power to or more mature systems to help another countries to really solve the issues, and also likewise also help the local companies to grow their global business markets. So from our youth levels, I think what we can do is that we will know how this system operates, how like these mechanisms. We can build these dialogues, know the real needs to know the real needs through our dialogues. And after that, we need to keep it more sustainable. We would like to engage the multilateral organizations and also the governments and also the big companies like the IPO companies. That's actually what we are doing to try to build these ecosystems. And that's also why we bring these events today. I don't know whether I answer your questions. You can also contact me personally after these events. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is actually from Digvijay to Mizao. So Digvijay, would you like to ask your question, please?
Yes, thank you, Vishesh. So Mizao, as you rightfully put up, that there are problems with India's recycling issue. But we also know that India's strides in renewable energy generation has also leapfrogged in these past decades. So what can be the most crucial areas of cooperation between India and China by way of transfer of technology and research collaboration, in which will help in climate change adaptation and mitigation in the two nations, specifically in the recycling sector and the renewable energy generation sector?
So I think like in India, there's a news in New Delhi. There is a fire disaster because of the landfill. So I think in India, they might not have make a good solution of how to recycling the waste. But while at the same time, you can see the history. China is making really good progress in these things. So this is one part, and the second is air pollution. And also, I heard news recently India is having air pollutions. So you can say Beijing. Beijing is used to also have really stressful air pollutions, but we solved it with high technologies. And the second is solar energy, and this is also China's really also have a lot of good company of this. So if I think the cooperation is like India has a lot of people and they can work hard, while China has high technology. So if Chinese companies they go to India and invest there, and the open companies there, so they can change the climate problem in India, and also solve a lot of job problems in India. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Digvijay, and thank you, me, for that answer. Now, the final question is from Anirban to Wang. Anirban, would you like to ask your question, please?
So my question is directed to Wang Xiaofei. So basically, during the 1950s and 60s, we have mainly seen that both India and China have made sustainable progress with regard to hydroelectric power plants as well as with dam systems as well. So how do you think that the government of the two countries can collaborate as well as they can build capacities in the existing hydroelectric power plant systems as well as to solve water security issues in the rural areas of both the countries?
Wang, did you hear that question? I think Wang, there's some internet connection problem from Wang's side. Okay, no problem. So the final question can be taken by Gargi. Gargi, you had a question for Navya, right?
Yes, thank you for the floor. So my question is to Ms. Navya, as she spoke about renewable energies and many projects. So my question is, what specific initiatives or joint ventures have been established to enhance the technological innovations and capacity building in the renewable energy sectors between the two countries? Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Gargi, for the question. I feel there's levels to like implementation. For instance, like right from research, I've talked about STEM research and development. So like right from scientists and researchers to industries to governments cooperating, considering the status quo, obviously. There is, I mean, there's collaboration at every, at every level. And for instance, I did mention about how China is one of the largest solar panel producers. And India obviously imports from China. And India also is taking in wind energy. And there's collaboration in wind energy as well. And also my friend here, for instance, worked for transportation sector and from China for a project in India. So that's another example. So there is collaboration, but considering the status quo, I think there should be work, because the trickle-down effect from the governments going down to like levels of individuals cooperating, that would be affected when the status quo is disturbed. So I feel there's much work to be done. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Gargi, for the question, and thank you, Navya, for such detailed and well-explained answer. Now, as all 5 questions are taken, now we will begin our session once again. The speaker will be from the Geostrata first, Kanan.
Thank you, moderator. I extend my gratitude to the Geostrata and Tsinghua University for this panel discussion. Esteemed industry fellows, today I propose a vision on India-China collaboration based on green hydrogen initiatives. We all know about fossil fuels, right? Fossil fuels, formerly a source of extinction, are now acknowledged as unsustainable. Green hydrogen, on the other hand, which is a clean burning fuel made from renewable energy, offers a promising alternative. However, unlocking its full potential requires collaboration. But how? So here I propose how India and China can team up on green hydrogen initiatives. Firstly, we can do joint research and development that would make the green hydrogen more commercially viable. Imagine the discoveries that can cut the energy consumption up to 20%. Secondly, by developing the green hydrogen corridors that would connect the production hubs in India and China to the centers in demand, facilitating the trade and transportation of green hydrogen. Lastly, by standardization and certification, which would ensure the safety, quality, and foster trust in the world hydrogen market. In this way, India and China collaboration wouldn't just benefit our own economies, but it would send a powerful message to the world. By leveraging India's strength in renewable energy infrastructure and Chinese expertise in large-scale manufacturing, we can create a robust global supply chain. The time for action is now. I would like to know your strategic thoughts on this collaboration and how India and China can become pioneers in this green energy revolution. Thank you.
Vishesh, before we move any further, I would like you to recognize the Secretary General's question first.
Yes. Please, Yang, you had a question, sir?
Yes, I have a question for anyone or experts that are familiar into this topic. And the question is, how India build incentive mechanisms to encourage more stakeholders, including the public, or the companies, or the government, or other stakeholders, to contribute to environment and climate issues, because you know, especially the society and the companies, for them the environmental protection sometimes are always the cost are very costly. We need to pay for like protect the environment. So how the India side are currently build these incentive mechanisms? Thank you. That's all my questions.
Yes. Who would like to answer this question, or is it to someone specific? Is it to someone speak specifically, or do you want anyone to answer this question, Yang? Anirban, would you like to answer this?
So I'll be happy to answer. I'd like to answer this specific question, and thanks for the question. I'd like to answer this particular question with a specific example. Especially in the Sagar Islands, it is located in one of the in the state of West Bengal, especially in one of the eastern part of the country. Over there, I can say that since 1996, the Ministry of Energy and Conservation over here has tried to deliver electricity with the help of solar-based power plants and other sustainable energy sources. So we can say in majority of the country's solar systems and other energy systems may have come recently, but in the case of India, it has started since the period of 1990s, or even if you go back to 1996. So currently, the level of dependence on diesel and thermal-based power plants has come down significantly on that specific island. And that island is specifically getting electricity of up to 6 hours from solar-based power plants. And that solar-based power plants has the capability to deliver electricity of 30 MBs currently, 30 MBs to 30 megawatts as of now. And the Indian government has also tried to make international efforts by creating international solar alliance and other such alliances in the recent period, to make sure that we can boast into sustainability, as well as we can tackle pollution in the recent years as well. Obviously, in this part of the country, since most of majority of the country is not only dependent on industries and service sector, but also in the agricultural sector as well. So in that sector, the government is also trying to build agricultural sustainability with the help of innovations, with the help of machines that can usually convert stubbles into necessary products as well. So we can actually have a sustainable economy that in the very near future in India as well.
Thank you, Anirban. I hope, Yang, that clarifies a lot of your queries that you had asked in your question. Now, continuing again with the session, the next speaker would be Yais. Yais is if she's not, then we can go to the next speaker, Nandita from the Geostrata.
Hello, I would like to extend my gratitude to the moderator for providing me the opportunity to address here. I am Nandita, a researcher at the Geostrata. Two of the world's largest and most populous developing nations, India and China, stand at the forefront of the global challenge of climate change. China and India can leverage their positions as major economies and leading voices of the global south to advocate for effective climate action within the framework of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Some key issues that can be seen are India and China have historically contributed relatively less to global emissions, yet they face immense development challenges. Secondly, climate finance disparities exist, such as India, China, and Brazil contribute more climate related finance through multilateral development banks than many countries in the global north. These countries are among the top 20 global climate finance providers. This shows how India and China can lead the global south transitioning out of the carbon led economy. So, my proposal will be twofold. Firstly, an enhanced South South cooperation to promote cooperation among developing nations through knowledge sharing and technology transfer. And secondly, advocacy for climate justice through pushing for equitable climate finance and technology transfer from developed nations. To conclude, India and China can lead the global south in the transition to a low carbon economy by advocating for climate justice, promoting cooperation, and coordinating policies. Thank you.
Thank you, Nandita. Now the next speaker would be Kevin.
Okay, thank you. My name is Kevin, and I also can call me Wenjun from Tsinghua University. I'm very honored to be here to share with you my thoughts on the youth cooperation and sustainable development goals between India and China. I think India, China, and the most populous countries in the world have a great potential and the responsibility in achieving sustainable development goal and also promoting youth cooperation. Under the UN sustainable goals cover everything from the eradicating the poverty and ensuring health and well-being to protecting the environment and also promoting peace and justice. India has also made a significant progress in advancing the sustainable development goals. The India government launched the national projects such as the Clean India campaign and also the Digital India plan to improve the sanitation conditions, promote digital development, and strengthen infrastructure construction and improve people's daily life in India. At the same time, in China, the government promotes sustainable development goals through the policies and the measures. China is committed to poverty reduction and has lifted hundreds of millions of people out of poverty in just a few decades, becoming an important contributor to global poverty reduction. So at the same time, China has made a remarkable achievement in clean energy and employment production technology. In terms of education and technological innovation, India and China can promote the sharing of technology and also knowledge through the joint scientific research projects. And in terms of entrepreneurship and also employment, young people from China and India can discuss and solve the employment problems and also share the experience. The two countries can establish the youth entrepreneurship incubators and carry out entrepreneurship competitions and other activities to engage young people from two sides to participate in the innovation and entrepreneurship and contributing to two sides' economic development. And India and China has a great potential future prospects in achieving the sustainable development goals and promote the youth cooperation. So in the future, the youth of the two countries are the key force of achieving these goals. So by achieving and also strengthening the cooperation, they can not only promote the development of the two countries and also make important contributions to the cause of global development, sustainable development, and solve the issues facing with us with climate change and also other social issues. So I think in the future, India and China can play more important role to achieve the goals of a sustainable development goals and build a more beautiful and also harmonious world. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. These are some of the very core issues that you have highlighted. I would like to give the stage next to Nisarg. Nisarg.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Moderator, Geostrata and Tsinghua for the platform. My name is Nisarg Jani and I work as a research analyst at the Geostrata. So as we gather here today, we stand united by a shared vision of a sustainable future. One that is powered by the sun's boundless energy, and given that India is home to 50 plus solar panel manufacturers nurtured by the government of India's production linked incentive scheme. This initiative has significantly enhanced our solar energy production capacity to 2,535 megawatts, and with a robust capital outlay of 4,455 crores or 533 million USD, somewhat nearby. In the first tranche, we have established the comprehensive manufacturing ecosystem from polysilicon processing to module assembly. And the government recently announced the second tranche of this production linked incentive scheme with a tenfold increase in the capital outlay to 1.6 billion USD. And this is set to expand our solar energy capacity to 39,600 megawatts. And this expansion is not merely a national achievement. It represents a strategic asset for the entire global south, including our esteemed Chinese counterparts. And hence, keeping this theme in mind of this mutual prosperity of India-China renewable energy manufacturing capacities, I propose an India-China renewable energy technology partnership, which can function currently as a consortium of Indian and Chinese solar panel manufacturers across the value chain. This initiative aims to facilitate the exchange of cutting-edge solar module technology where production capacities can be diversified between Indian and Chinese panel manufacturers. So through this partnership, we envision a scenario where Chinese module manufacturers can leverage India's growing capacity and our collective desire to quadruple our installed renewable energy capacity. So now I look forward to the initiatives from the other side of the table. Thank you.
Thank you, Nisarg. Well, the moderator has joined us, but before we again give the stage back to the moderator, Yais Fang, can you please take up the stage? Yais.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, please
okay.
go on.
Yes, it's about my session. Hi, everyone. I'm Wang Yitze, from Chinese mainland. Now I'm the postgraduate in Tsinghua University in Integrated School of Integrated Circuits. Now I want to share some of my views about the common side between China and India about the sustainable development. First, as we know, China and India both have a wealth of highland areas with sparse surface vegetation and weak resistance to wind. Making them suitable as wind power generation areas. Meanwhile, as a sparsely populated area, high altitude regions can be used as the large-scale solar power generation areas. The plateau region also reserves a large amount of water resources. We can learn from Middle Eastern countries such as Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates that use electricity generated by solar power to produce hydrogen energy. Hydrogen fuel can also be used as energy resources for the new energy vehicles, which we are vigorously promoting now. In the West, China and India, as ocean powers, can also use the tidal energy of ocean to generate electricity. The illustrated above needs strong cooperation between China and India from political to scientific ways. Thank you for the listening.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Now the next speaker will be from
Vishesh, I think you have some network issues at your end. Sachi, can you please begin?
I thank the moderator, the Geostrata, and Tsinghua University for giving me this opportunity. Hello everyone, my name is Sakshi Narang and I'm researcher and designer at Geostrata. Today, I'm here to talk about some compelling reasons why India and China should collaborate in preventing illegal fishing and unhealthy marine practices. Both the countries are part of broader international efforts related to illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, which poses a significant threat globally. At start, we must take note of SDG 14, which by year 2025 aims to significantly reduce marine pollution, particularly from the land-based activities, including marine debris and nutrient pollution. It focuses on sustainable management and protection of marine and coastal ecosystems. The collaboration is significant because both the countries are surrounded by large water bodies, such as Indian Ocean and South China Sea, which hold tremendous strategic importance and facilitates economic activities and trade globally. However, they face significant threats due to pollution, overfishing, ocean acidification, and climate change, which would lead to degradation of marine ecosystem and loss of biodiversity. The collaborative efforts between India and China in fulfilling SDG 14 reflect our shared commitment towards sustainable development and environmental conservation. These partnerships are crucial in addressing global challenges related to marine pollution, hence paving the way for healthier and more resilient planet for future generations. Thank you.
Thank you, Sakshi. Now the next speaker will be Kai Wang. Please go ahead.
Yes, I'm here. So can you
Hello,
hear me?
everyone.
Yeah, hi. Okay,
Hello,
so
everyone.
what?
It's me.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I think it's
First,
Taiwan.
first it's Kai, and after that it's Hangwen.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kai. As my major is biocanto, I'm trying to analyze an eternal harmonious relationship between humans and nature from classical opera pieces. I think a typical representative is Mascagni, the country Connect, which is an Italian single-act opera. As a beautiful island in the Mediterranean, Sicilian's unique natural scenery and rural life provide rich materials for opera. And this background setting detroitly displays the scene of coexistence between humans and nature. In addition, the opals extensively use Sicilian dialects, which not only enhances the regional characteristics for the opera, but also future demonstrates the close connection between humans and nature. In short, this depiction not only enhances the artistic expansion of the opera, but also makes it have deeper social significance. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Kai. Now the next speaker is from the Geostrata, Sanjay. Sanjay, you have the floor.
Greetings. I thank the dais and greetings, my fellow panelists. My name is Sanjay, the lead researcher at the Peace and Conflict Studies. Today, I shall be talking about how COP can be a point of multilateral convergence between India and China. Climate change has had devastating consequences globally, with India and China holding over 3 billion of the world's population bearing the brunt. The International Panel of Climate Change estimates that about 4 billion people, nearly half of whom who reside in India and China, will face severe water scarcity for at least 1 month annually from climate change. Thus, it is crucial for both these nations to partner on this important endeavor. India and China align on the principle of common but differentiated responsibilities through COP. They also advocate for sustainable technologies that are better suited to global South nations addressing their unique climate challenges. Speaking of the global South, both these nations have united the global South and COP by articulating for better climate finance and B for articulating the necessity to take better accountability from the global North. Therefore, the strategic cooperation through platforms like COP is crucial for driving an equitable climate change response. From this, I propose that India and China must push at COP for climate finance as articulated by my fellow panelist Nandita from developed nations based on differentiated responsibilities that would push for better tailored climate actions. Thank you. Looking forward for more innovative solutions from my fellow panelists.
Thank you, Sanjay. Now, Hanwan, please go ahead. You have the floor.
Okay, thank you. So this is Hanwen. My speech will focus on sustainable development, which mainly touches upon the following 2 points. In sustainable agriculture, our countries are making great strides together, with both nations heavily reliant on agriculture. Adopting sustainable practices is crucial. For instance, China's advancements in precision farming technologies, such as the use of drones for crop monitoring and the development of drought-resistant crop varieties, can be combined with India's innovations in organic farming and water-efficient irrigation systems. And secondly, the collaboration extends to innovation and technology, where both China and India are emerging as hubs for green technology startups. Take the example of India's startup Renew Power, one of the largest renewable energy companies in India, which collaborates with Chinese companies for advanced wind turbine technology. Similarly, China's BYD, a leader in electric vehicles, has entered the Indian market, contributing to the development of electric mobility solutions in big cities. So by fostering a spirit of entrepreneurship and innovation, we can develop solutions to some of the most pressing environmental challenges, creating new opportunities for sustainable economic growth. So in conclusion, the collaboration between China and India in sustainable development is not just beneficial, but imperative. It is a partnership that promises a brighter, greener future for both nations and the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Hanwan. Now the next speaker is from the Geostrata, Sanvi.
Thank you, moderator. Greetings to all the esteemed speakers present here. I'm Sanvi Suri, a researcher at the Geostrata, and today I'm honored to propose a potential cooperation between India and China, two of the world's largest economies and carbon emitters, to come together to forge a partnership promoting climate finance. Both the countries have played a crucial role in climate negotiations on global platforms, advocating for fair transition strategies that align with their economic development needs. India and China have been at the forefront of voicing their concerns of the global south, with justice, equity, and climate reparations as their central concerns. Keeping their commitments in mind, India and China also make significant contributions to climate finance through multilateral development banks. In total, they have contributed close to $1.9 billion towards the fund of MDBs. They are among the top 20 providers for the funds of MDBs. However, these contributions often remain unnoticed against their emission levels. To materialize this partnership, India and China can utilize the existing multilateral platforms in which both the countries are members, such as BRICS, SCO, and other regional organizations. Funds that cater specifically to climate mitigation projects can be created and leveraged to pool resources of India, China, as well as other developing countries. In conclusion, forging an Indo-China partnership in climate finance holds immense potential for addressing global climate challenges effectively and equitably. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanvi. Now the next speaker would be Vichaya. Vichaya, you have the floor. I guess there's some internet problem from Vishaya's side. So we'll move on to our next speaker. Vishaya, oh, he's back on. Vishaya, please go ahead. Your mic is not on.
Hi, again. I'm Vishaya from Cambodia. I'm graduate student from Tsinghua University. I'm particularly interested in the topic of transportation and environment. I spent few months in India, specifically in Nagpur and Kolkata. I worked on a metro project, and is anyone from Nagpur or Kolkata? No? Yeah, I think some of you are from those cities. Yeah, I love the food in Kolkata. China and India are the two of the world's largest and most culturally rich countries, and their combined efforts could undoubtedly address numerous global challenges, including climate change, environment issues, and so on. And China is a world leader in electric vehicles called EV. I think bigger cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Mumbai, Delhi require more EVs to reduce the air pollution that affect the health. And the development of electric vehicles in China and India reflect the broader economic and environmental strategies of these two rapidly developing countries. Both nations are focusing on expanding their EV industry to reduce the air pollution, decrease reliance on fossil fuel, and position themselves as leaders in the global automotive market. However, the approach, progress, and challenges are very significantly. And I mean, as a third person, yeah, I'm from North China. I'm not a Chinese or no Indian. I encourage both countries to work harder on green energy, such as EV adoption. I believe both nations are great and intelligent. We hope to see both of you collaborate more and put on more effort into addressing the environment and specifically the air pollution in the city. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishaya. Next speaker is from Tsinghua, Litao. Can you hear my voice? Are they present in the session? I think we can then go on to our next speaker from Strata, Tamanna.
Greetings, everyone. I thank the moderator for giving me the stage. My name is Tamanna Arora, and I'm a researcher at the Geostrata. The escalating climate crisis threatens, impacts, and even escalates a plethora of issues, ranging from extreme weather to food security. The destination of a sustainable future is the same for us all. Thereby, I propose a vision of our countries as co-leaders in climate action, leveraging the United Nations as a catalyst. Under the UN's International Renewable Energy Agency, the IRENA, we could establish a dedicated India-China Research Center focused on developing next-generation clean energy technologies, which would pool science and finance to innovate in solar energy, storage, and management. We can collaborate with the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization, where knowledge-sharing networks can be improved to develop climate-resilient agricultural practices. Furthermore, a joint India-China task force can be made with the UN Office for Disaster Reduction dedicated to building disaster resilience across the region. Colleagues, our collaboration at the UN would demonstrate that even the world's largest economies can prioritize environmental sustainability and work together for the common good. And thus, it is imperative that we move ahead in partnership and goodwill. I thank you for giving me the floor.
Thank you, Tamanna. Now the next speaker will be Solomon.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Great. Nice to meet all of you. I'm here at Schwartzman College in our room. I don't have the background, so I'm sorry. But I am from the US. I'm a Jewish American. And I just have a couple points I wanted to share. I feel like India and China are fundamentally aligned on their goal of securing a better future for their people and for the world. And as someone from outside, I think, one, since it's tough to have open collaboration between the two in some areas today, I think looking to other foreign students that are currently studying in China, for example, students from Africa, from Europe, from Southeast Asia, engineering students learning about solar, learning about nuclear engineering here in China, who are developing relationships with major suppliers and manufacturers, can help share learning between China and India, perhaps more effectively than the Chinese engineers who are currently struggling to get visas. Point two, collaborating with those who China learned from. So Japan, Korea, Taiwan, I think that can be an effective way to collaborate as well. And I also think that bringing more American and European students and professionals into collaboration with China is very important. In collaboration with India is important. China's done, I think, quite a good job of that, especially starting in the 80s. It's trailed off a little bit now, but I think also China is at a point developmentally where there's so much momentum already that it isn't perceived as necessary. My third point is here at Schwartzman College and as a Schwartzman scholar, I've seen the benefits of mutual learning between me as an American in China and also being able to share my perspective as an American with Chinese leaders and other students. And I think there's potential for Indian philanthropists, business people, political leaders to support creation of some kind of similar program in India to help other foreigners coming from around the world to become more involved with India. I think the current model of one-directional immigration of many of India's best and brightest people coming to the United States to study and to work is not completing the circuit of mutual learning fully yet. And so if there's anything I can do to be supportive of that from the US, I would love that. And I'm happy to be in touch with all of you if there's anything more you'd like to talk about. Thanks.
Thank you, Suleiman. Thank you for such a friendly and warm introduction and speech. Now the next speaker will be from the Geostrata Web Hub.
Thank you so much, Vishesh, for that. I'm Vaibhav Singh. I'm the tech team lead here at the Geostrata. Again, I'd like to thank both Tsinghua and Geostrata for organizing something like this because being very realistic, I've been working in the mechatronics and green tech academia for the past 2 years. And it is conversations like these where we actually learn about the problems on ground and when we work together. As Solomon before me mentioned, it is very important for us to go beyond our classrooms, beyond our research, and talk to people around the world so that we know what are the real problems that we are facing. But again, why are the youth from India and China here discussing energy transition? I think the answer is very simple. India and China have a total population of over 3 billion people. And with 3 billion people come a lot of energy needs. India aims for 175 gigawatts of renewable power by 2024, whereas China aims for over 250 gigawatts in the same amount of time. But I think it is together that we can achieve much, much, much more than this. As people before me also mentioned, we have a lot of issues that that both the countries are facing, especially in regards to the research and development of green energy technologies. There is a need to improve R&D investment. A lot of work needs to be done in the field of improving efficiencies of green tech systems, especially when it comes to storage and transmission. We already know that India and China are the manufacturing powerhouses of the world. So why don't we help each other in that domain as well? Together, shared manufacturing expertise can cut costs by 10 to 15% for green energy technologies. Imagine reducing 10 to 15%. That can make it viable even for developing nations to partake in this clean energy transition. Together, India and China can lead this energy transition not for the region, but for the whole world. even for the countries which don't have enough funds. This is about the bigger picture, but like at the conclusion, what we can do, what can Strata and Tsinghua do together? I think Tsinghua has the expertise to act as the focal point for a lot of Chinese green tech academia. And we at the Geostrata have our members coming in from some of the best institutes in India. Together, we have the power to organize academic and industrial collaboration between both the countries in forms of events in form of such roundtables and other academic forms as well. So again, my point is same. Together, we have a shared responsibility towards this globe, and together we can achieve much, much, much more than we can do individually. So thank you again for giving me this floor. Vishesh, over to you.
Thank you, Vaibhav. Now the next speaker will be Litao.
Hi, Manu, is it Adele or Litao? I'm sorry.
If Litao, Adele, then you can go ahead, please.
Sorry, can you please speak? Yeah.
Yeah, you can go ahead, please.
Yeah, okay, I think I will go ahead. Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Adele. I'm from the Tsinghua side. So good evening. Today I would like to address the profound impact of climate change on our electric power systems. The reliable supply of electricity is essential for our daily lives, and any disruption can lead to significant economic and social losses. Globally, extreme weather events have resulted in economic losses estimated 30 billion USD, a figure that is starkly illustrated the immense impact of climate change on our power systems. Renewable energy sources such as wind and solar power have become increasingly integral to our energy mix. However, these sources are highly susceptible to extreme weather conditions. For instance, due to climate change, there has been a significant decline in solar energy potential in regions such as India, Southern South America, and West Africa. Furthermore, our transmission and distribution network are also at risk from climate change. For example, in the fiscal year 2024, a reduction in rainfall impacted India's hydropower generation, which accounts for the largest share of clean energy, leading to a 16.3% decrease in production, the largest decline in 38 years. Additionally, market research firm Mercom's data shows that in 2023, India's new solar installation capacity added was 7.5 gigawatts, a 44% decrease from the previous year. In conclusion, climate change poses a significant risk to our electric systems. The reliance on renewable energy sources make our power grids more vulnerable to extreme weather conditions. While our transmission and distribution network are also at risk, it is imperative that we take action to mitigate the impact of climate change on our electric power systems and ensure a reliable supply of electricity for future generations. And thank you for your attention. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Adele. Now the final speaker from the Geostrata, Vanshika. You have the floor.
Moderator. I would also like to thank the team for giving me this opportunity to share my views. I am Vanshika Kakkar, a member of the Geostrata, and I would be talking about the possibility of India and China's collaboration on forestry. Firstly, forests are home to 80% of global warming biodiversity, and in a world in which global warming is increasing at an alarming rate, it is the need of the hour to adopt sustainable forest management practices. India and China are the two mega biodiverse countries of the world and have large forest-dependent communities. India has made commitments to restore 26 million hectares of deforested and degraded land and sequester an additional 2.5 to 3 billion tons of CO2 equivalent through increased forest cover by 2030. China has also committed to increase its forest stock volume by 4.5 million cubic meters from 2005. Now, the proposed reforms include, firstly, a focus on agroforestry and urban forestry, in which both the countries can collaborate and exchange knowledge on effective agroforestry models, which can balance agriculture with forestry needs. Additionally, both the countries can work together and encourage entrepreneurs and innovators to support their countries' overarching forest conservation and restoration goals.
Last but not least, I believe that collaboration between the countries will lead to a technically sound and socially just climate solution in the forestry sector. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanshika. Now, final speaker, Yafan Sun.
Okay, hello.
Hello.
Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Catherine, and I'm honored to participate in this dialogue. And I would like to discuss the opportunities for China and India to cooperate in the management and protection of water resources. And China and India face significant challenges in managing and protecting our water resources, which are crucial for our daily life and sustainable development. Both of our nations experience issues such as water scarcity, water pollution, and uneven distribution of water resources. However, these challenges also present opportunities for us to collaborate and find solutions together. Firstly, China has gained extensive experience in river management, water resource monitoring, and pollution control, while India has made significant strides in rainwater harvesting, groundwater management, and community participation. By sharing technologies and experiences, we can improve the efficiency of water resource utilization, reduce waste, and ensure safe water supply. Secondly, we can collaborate on transboundary water resource protection projects. Many transboundary rivers are vital to the ecosystems of both countries. By establishing cooperative mechanisms and jointly formulating and implementing water resource protection policies, we can effectively prevent water pollution and ecological damage, ensuring the sustainable use of water resource. And in conclusion, China and India have immense potential for cooperation in the management and protection of water resources. I hope we can find more opportunities in this area and jointly address water resource challenges and contribute to the sustainable development. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. With that, we come to the end of our roundtable. Now, we are open to questions and answers. I see many questions put up by you in the chat box. So first, the question is by Han Wen, which will be answered by Nisarg. Nisarg, you have to answer the question. Han Wen, can you please ask the question that you have in your mind?
If I may jump in really quickly, we have one more speaker and closer. He is my co-founder of the India-China Society that I created, and it would be great for him to give his 1 to 2 minutes.
Yeah. Hello. Thank you so much, Shivam. So my name is Pragyan, and I'm from India. First and foremost, I think I was really interested to join this forum, mainly because of the fact that now I've been in China for past almost a year, and you guys will not believe that I have not seen any engagement between the Chinese think tanks and Indian think tanks, even at the top level. So trust me, this is a very good initiative. I'll be really honest. The partnership, the relation between India and China is at the lowest right now, but I believe that the people-to-people engagement should always continue. So honestly, it's definitely, you all deserve a big kudos here in Tsinghua and in India at Geostrata. So I'm a lawyer. I studied in India, and I worked with the Ministry of Commerce and Industry for 3 years as a trade policy advisor. I'm a Shosben scholar here, along with Solomon, Shivam, and Venjun. So I think what we need to understand, and I'll give you a very geopolitical, geoeconomic side to this sustainability thing, because I think many people have spoken the technical aspect of it. Like I said, like the relation between both the countries, if I don't sugarcoat it, it's at the lowest right now. But it's very interesting to see that India and China have been collaborating very, very strongly at the global forum, particularly the climate summits and all the global South summits that happen globally. India and China are very, very strong partners. This is a very surprising thing. I mean, something like BRICS has survived till now because I think both the countries realize that if the global South perspective of both the countries is brought together, the political differences can be put aside. So I see like a realistic sort of a partnership between both the countries happening in a climate and a global South perspective, which seems very possible. So that is the first thing, because I mean, what we need to understand is in the coming days, and it's very clear from the geopolitical landscape that there is going to be a very heavy pushback from the developed countries, particularly Europe, on environmental regulations in the global south, because they started their journey of, this whole green technology way before India and China could do. So I think the global regulations are going to be pushed in a manner wherein it will be very hard for the countries from the global south, India, particularly Africa, to rise up in the supply chain ladder of electric, of the green technology. So I think the first biggest, we need to understand that the global collaboration between India and China is very important to push back on this whole global north narrative to have high green standards. Secondly, if we go to the bilateral engagement between India and China, I mean, I came to China for the first time 10 months ago, and literally one thing which is definitely amazing is the amount of electric vehicles you have in this country, the amount of green energy that you see all around you. So that's a revolution which China has done, and I think this is definitely something which India should learn. I mean, we can talk about all these tech things and all, but I think the first thing you need is, the will to become a technological superpower. I mean, I'll just, on the side note, I'll tell you something. And in I think 2011, there was a video which was circulating recently. Elon Musk was laughing on BYD, that how can a company like BYD will never even be a competitor in China. And look today, I mean, they have literally overtaken Tesla, and they have proved that if you have the will to develop something, you can definitely do it. So I think I see that in India, but I think it has to go up a bit. We have to level up. I mean, in terms of like green technology, what I am aware of from like a trade policy perspective, we started by importing a lot of battery cells from China, but recently we have started assembling them in India. So what you should do always is that you should have the intention to rise up the supply chain ladder, where you start becoming as a importer, then you start assembling things, and then you become the manufacturer. So I think the goal of India should be to catch up with China in terms of the green technology manufacturing. And I think there we can collaborate with China, we can learn from them. China, I think, is very open to collaborating on that aspect. Just imagine like two countries, India and China, manufacturing green products. I think we can supply to the whole world. So I think that is where I see the future to be. But once again, I think this is a very, very good initiative. Trust me, not even people at the top level are engaging right now. So you all deserve kudos at Geostrata and at Tsinghua. So yeah, that's all from my side. If you have any questions, I would love to answer. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you. We can actually go ahead from the questions from the chat box, because people have been waiting for a long time. So the first question actually came along from Hanwen and Nisar. If you can answer this question, please.
All right. So her question was, what roles should NGO and education institutions play in promoting the collaboration between India and China in sustainable development? So I'll talk about IIT Madras. So IIT Madras is at the center of the semiconductor revolution in India. And again, semiconductors are widely used in battery management systems, as we know. And the institution has recently worked on the graphene-based semiconductor. It is doing some fundamental research in that. And I also see Tsinghua is doing a lot of stuff in that aspect as well as my own university, Pandit Dindayal Energy University. It is working on the assembly of the battery management systems. And there's another startup that is also incubated by IIT Madras, known as MindGrow Technologies, which has created the CMOS-based semiconductors, which are widely used in battery management systems, again in the EVs, which are 30% more efficient and cheaper than what is available out there. So I hope BYD is also looking at it, and Tsinghua is also aware of what is happening in India. So we can collaborate on something on those lines as well. So I hope that answers your question.
I hope that does. Now the next question is actually from Adele. And if Anusha, you can answer this question. Adele, if you want to ask the question.
Yes. Hey. Okay, thank you, moderator. Yeah, it's my pleasure to hear from you, Sanvi Suri. I hope I read your name correct. You mentioned that you should build up a global platform to deal with the climate change and the climate finance issue. May I know what could we, as maybe a still studying, or as you like an NGO like Geostrata, could do in this part? Thank you.
Thank you, Viral. Actually, Sanvi couldn't be here due to some circumstances, so I'll be responding on her part. So this question is basically a continuation of what Hanman just said and what Nisar just answered. But adding to that, there are a lot of things that universities like Sichuan and Geostrata think tanks can do. Because government to government collaboration is often more difficult as it requires a lot of bureaucracy. But when it comes to the think tank arena, when it comes to the universities, it's much easier for the youth to connect. And since the youth are the future, on a global platform, we could do things like education, training, offering courses, workshops, opening research hubs, conducting joint research, and having community engagement, research groups, advocacy, and projects such as resource sharing among universities, and maybe climate collaboration through conferences such as this very one that is happening right now, which will, I believe, act as a driver for further change and further dialogue between India and China, because it's very rare, I feel, today for a think tank and a university from China to collaborate and talk about something like technological revolution and something like sustainable development. And these few things, like being in one place and talking to the people on your other side and collaborating and coming up with ideas, brainstorming, having conducting joint projects. So this is basically the essence of the global platform that if we want, that is something that we could desire to do. I hope that's fine.
Thank you for the answer.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
Well, thank you, Anusha. I hope that answers your question. The next question is from Miranda to Sanjay. Miranda, would you like to ask your question, please?
Yes, yes. My question, is to
Sanjay, you can directly answer the question.
Um,
You have read it already.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Miranda, for
I didn't find right now. Can you help to your question? So I think your question has been or
Thank you, Ms. Miranda, for your question. I think your question was particularly on what specific actions do you think we as students and scholars from China and India could do to help tackle climate change issues? That was your question, I guess. Yeah. So firstly,
thank you.
it's a good question that you ask. I think with terms of action, I think for students, since we have societies, in particular, students can utilize societies and social media as a platform to search other Indian and Chinese societies, collaborate with them, have sessions like this, which is rightfully mentioned by my fellow panelist Anusha, talking about hosting joint roundtable conferences, having events, etc., that talk about this. The second most important thing that I would like to say is take our histories. India and China are countries that have a rich and vibrant history that goes up to 3,000 years ago, and we have had huge contact from for millennia. So I think taking that into cue, we can take our practices from ancient times, bring it into practical perspective, and we can do a good job in integrating ancient aspects with modernity. So I think, and with respect to scholars, I think our think tanks right now, what we are doing, we can particularly write joint papers and collaboration on how steps can be taken to mitigate climate change. And I've mentioned that India and China together in multilateral forums such as COP can form unilateral organizations, groupings, wherein they utilize their mechanisms to advance and advocate the global north to give better funding, and take better accountability, change the regulations that are present, that are too favorable to the global north. So I think by taking these steps, it'll be good from the students and scholar perspective. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank
That's
you,
very
Anna.
inspiring.
With that, we come to the end of our session. I hope that it was a fruitful conversation that generated new ideas, and most importantly, this unique collaboration would help to engage more between the youths of these two countries. I would like to thank all the speakers for joining in, for giving such wonderful answers, and also to all the questions and all the different ideas that were generated here. Thank you so much for joining. And with this, we come to the end of this session.